All right, team. We're back. Second week of August. We're in Massachusetts right now, Beachtown, Massachusetts. Doing some work here, but wanted to just highlight. I went for a run this morning. Unbelievable weather conditions. Nothing I've seen in the last probably since Eugene. Literally since Eugene, actually. Yeah. So 61 degrees. Little morning dew. Went for a run, 4.5 miles, zone 2 on the docket, super easy miles. I ended up clicking off 9-minute pace, or just below 8 minutes and 57-second pace. And my average heart rate beats per minute was 118 beats per minute, which is actually absurd. That's the lowest I've ever seen it while doing any form of running exercise in my career as a runner, and whatever you want to label that as. But this is a statement that I'm starting to learn about myself, is that being able to have the privilege of training in Miami, in the heat, in the humidity, with such intense workouts over and over and over again, it proves to me how the weather is just so important. Like people say altitude training. I haven't trained in altitude. I've not gone to Provo, Utah with the Brigham Young boys and gone out there and clipped miles at however high the elevation is. I don't even know. I'm right at sea level in Miami, but it's hot. And I will firmly tell you that this heat training has helped me significantly. I saw it in Eugene with my heart rate being 166 through the full sub 3-hour marathon. Today was a prime example of me being able to run sub 120 beats per minute. That's like some people's like cycling heart rate. I mean, I couldn't believe it. Like, I will tell you, when I was training for Eugene on the Venetian Bridge in March, I was doing 8:30s, 8:20s, 8:15s, and my heart rate was maybe 140, 145, 147, 152, depending on how close to that 8-minute mark now. And it's two things. One, the base that I've built through this year. Obviously, my cardiovascular system has gotten hella stronger. I'm happy about that. I've put in a shit ton of miles. I'm minimally 50-mile weeks at this point. Even my downtime before Chicago training block started and after Eugene, I was still running 25, 35 miles a week, and it was just lethargic. It was easy. It was second nature. Didn't feel like a lot. 100-mile months is pretty much par for the course at this point. So just to make everyone clear, abundantly clear, that I run, it's not like this is just happening overnight. But the delta, I couldn't believe it. I looked at my heart rate. I was like, is it the weather? Am I not warming up yet? Like, what's good? I had espresso, like strong espresso. I thought maybe that would throw with my heart rate. 118 beats per minute for an 9-minute mile. Like, this is like, I got to go push tomorrow at tempo. I'm going to see what it spits out at me. But like, this is making me really, really confident going into Chicago. Again, temperatures could be 75. Temperatures could be 31. So, and that's Fahrenheit. It's going to be a gamble 2 months from today, essentially. We're 60 days out from the race, and I feel at ease. I haven't put very much pressure on myself yet. I haven't started asking myself the questions of, oh, am I going to be 250? Am I going to be a 254? Am I going to be a 258? Am I going to be a 302? Am I going to be a 249? I don't know. But my biggest takeaway, and I wanted to film this video because I've just been thinking about it all day. I'm like, I cannot believe I just ran 4.5 miles and at 8-minute 57-second pace, and my heart rate on average was not above 120 beats per minute. Like, that's pretty remarkable. So I'm happy about it. And I think what I would tell people is, if you can't train in altitude, try to train in heat. And humidity, because I'm here. I feel like I breathe a lot better. I just feel like it's been a blessing, and I almost don't want to train here. Like, I almost want to go back to Miami for the remainder of this block, because that's where I know it's hard and my heart rate's going to be pumping for these skewed paces, and I'm gonna go down to over to Chicago and be like, holy shit, this is a breeze. Like, it's gonna take me 7 to 10 miles to warm up. So anyways, heat training is important. They say it's the poor man's altitude, but I think it is the middle class man's altitude. I don't think it's the poor man's altitude. That's my point. And I only say that because I've never trained in altitude. And it could be the equivalent rich man's altitude. It could be just as important. I'm not a scientist. I'm just giving the data, and I want to back it up even further. A lot of this stuff, I'm very in tune with my body, with where my heart rate is and what my efforts are. And when I say efforts, I mean paces, because I've been doing this I've been training for 2+ years. This will be my 4th marathon. I've done a half, I've done 2 halves. Like, I've done 6 to 10 races. I've done 5Ks here and there. Nothing crazy, like nothing training specific for 5K. My point is, I was doing that. This is the other thing I was going to say. It hit me. I was doing these races up like 2 years ago, 2023, beginning of 2023, end of 2022. From 2020 to 2022, I was running, and I saw a clip on Anya Culling, who was a 4:16 or 4:34 marathoner, and she got down to 2:34, which is freaking insane. 2 hours. She ran for Great Britain. She ran with the elites. It took her 2 years. She fell in love with running before it got cool, before it was a social media hype, before all of that stuff. And she fell in love with it. And she was just running without a watch. And that's how I was during COVID. I felt the same way. I had a freaking Fitbit. I had nothing at first. I had my phone in my hand with the Nike app. And I was like, this is crazy. I wanted to buy like a strap or something for my phone. I ended up buying my sister's lemon ass Fitbit off her for $80, which shit the bed. And I eventually got into Garmin. But my point is, this is stuff that I've studied within myself. Like, this is something that my pace, my heart rate is going to be different than your pace and your heart rate. Whether you're a 2:30 marathoner or a 4:20 marathoner, you have to understand your zones. And it's like, yeah, you can go pay somebody to do a zone test, but like, just look at it. Download Strava, have your watch. Like, I'm obsessed with the data. Before I go to bed, what was my heart rate on this run? What was my resting heart rate while I was sleeping this night? When I consumed alcohol, if I did consume alcohol, when did I eat? How long prior to when I fell asleep? Like, these are little like internal sciences that I play with myself that I think someone who's a beginner runner, you want to get formed. Like, after all the basics and the shoes and the gear and all this stuff, like, really focus on your data and log precisely. And Strava and Garmin do a great job. You don't have to do very much, but just make mental notes of it. So my point is, it takes time. It's not just about being the fastest marathoner. It's also about learning how you're getting better, because sometimes it feels like you're taking 2 steps backward to go 4 steps forward. So the heat is great, and remember, it's all different strokes for different folks. That's my takeaway for today. We'll see you soon.